Hey guys, hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Today, we're gonna be having Afghan food. This dish is called Kabuli Pulao, and it has lamb, basmati rice, carrot, and raisins on top. Oh look, I see almond skin. So, I don't see, oh, now I see it. There's almond slices in there. It blends in with the rice. The color is very similar, so it just camouflages. And for dessert, we have Kanafeh. This one is Middle Eastern. What's really interesting about Kanafeh, this dessert, it has cheese in it. Usually it's, when it's made, it comes on like a bigger pan, but this is just a slice from, it's like a cake, right? Like when you have cake, when you order a cake from somewhere, you're given a slice. This is a slice of a bigger thing, a bigger family. We are going to pair all this with tea. This is ginseng and ginger tea. I cut up fresh ginger myself, and the ginseng, it's like an instant ginseng tea I'm trying out for the first time. It's made of a Korean ginseng. Supposedly ginseng is supposed to help with your concentration, because we're going to need so much concentration eating our food, yeah? When I got this at the restaurant and they packed it to go, the lamb was hidden under all the rice. So the rice, it was all warm and fresh. It was keeping the meat warm as I was transporting it to my house. So, ooh, and poking it, I could tell already it's gonna be soft. So let's, you know what, let's have a bite of this rice. That rice is sweet because of the raisins in there. I'm going to be practicing mindful eating today. If you're new to mindful eating, well, it is basically that. You're eating mindfully. So instead of just like eating, like going at it and not thinking about how much you're eating or what you're eating, you know, when you practice mindful eating, before you eat, what you usually do is it's good to have a small plate. Because the bigger your plate, you're going to put more food and you're going to end up eating more. So especially if you're going to practice mindful eating or if you're on a diet, put aside how much you're going to focus on eating. And I know some mukbang, the goal is to finish eating, but I need to take care of my health. So I don't want to overeat. Because as you know, I mentioned dengue fever, and after getting dengue fever, whenever I overeat, I get very uncomfortable in the stomach. So I want to nurse my body. I want to treat it like a temple. And my mother always asked me, oh, like how does that food that you filmed in your mukbang taste like? So I'm going to always give her some sample so she could have some. Woo, it's a hot day. I'm guessing in Afghanistan, it is pretty warm right now, so how suitable that it is a warm day while we eat Afghan food. How do I describe that meat? It's not as soft as I expected, but it is still on the soft side of the spectrum. There's not a lot of sauce or any like dressing on it, so it's on the plain side, but it still is a slightly salty. It's all about appreciating the meat as it is. Wow, it's hot. Woo! Did you guys notice from last week, I have new curtains. See, it's double layered. So the first layer is gray, light gray. And I have like the, you know, the tulle fabric. I can make a dress out of it, some draping. Yeah, at first I was like, oh, maybe I should just get like full white base curtain and then white on white. But then This is supposed to block out sunlight so I could sleep in if I need to, especially if I had a long night of editing videos until 4 a.m. So I was like, okay, fashion over function, or function over fashion. And I was like, you know what? The purpose of getting a curtain, one of the main reasons is to block out the sun. So I went with the dark, like a light gray instead of a white. And yeah, it's been pretty effective. Certainly did not want to get like a full-on dark, like a black curtain. Maybe it would be more effective at blocking out light, but it would make my room feel smaller. That particular piece of the lamb, juicier than the first bite. I'm noticing some parts here of a little bit more fat. Perhaps it's a cartilage as well. One of the joys of eating is exploring different flavors, but also if you tell yourself, I have to eat this much food, then all of a sudden you're like, I don't know how excited I am to eat anymore because I'm forced to eat all this food. So that's why in today's mukbang, I'm not gonna force myself to finish everything if I'm already full. That takes the joy away from eating if you're forcing yourself. Because even if at the moment you're really enjoying your meal, after a huge meal, like if you eat like Thanksgiving dinners all the time, wow, that could take a toll on your body. In the beginning, when I first started to film mukbang, I considered it like a cheat day. I could eat whatever I want and as much as I want. But there was a certain point, after I filmed a certain amount of mukbang videos, how many mukbang videos would I film until I could develop diabetes or health issues because of overeating and eating too much sugar and too much of just really delicious food? Because sometimes really delicious food can be fatty, or they put, especially if you go to eat at restaurants, you don't know exactly what kind of oils they're using or how they're preparing the food. I understand that some people, they watch mukbang just to see the person finish eating a lot of food. But if you've been tuning into my mukbang often and you enjoy them, you know it's not just about eating all of the food. It's about exploring a different culture's food and then talking about it, and then also talking about life or whatever the bites inspire. And at times I'll address some questions you guys have, especially when it comes to when I did my first live stream mukbang. I answered a lot of your questions as much as I can. Woo! A very commonly asked question is, what camera do you use? When I film my travel vlogs, at least the ones you're watching these days, and the camera I'm using to film this mukbang right now, I'm using a Canon G7X. There's a newer model out right now, but I'm using the model before that. Oh, it's April 1st as I film this. Where does the time go by? It's almost been 2 months since I've been back from Asia. Where does the time go by? Almonds, they tend to be crunchy. Sometimes when you buy at the store, they're raw or they're roasted, but in both cases, they're crunchy. However, if you soak the almonds, then they become soft and the skin peels off. And this one, there's not too many almonds, but you do get almond slices, and they're on the soft side. I would say they're medium in the texture. Okay, I think my line was right here. If I'm still hungry, I'll eat more. That's fine. And so today I met up with one of my childhood friends. She's gonna be popping out a baby very soon in May. I'm thinking we're the same age. I met her in 6th grade. So it's like, wow, I knew her for almost 20 years. And she's popping out a baby. And we were both like, wow, how did time fly so fast? And pretty soon that baby's gonna be running around. And that baby's gonna be our age and saying the same thing that we were saying today. And one of the things we were talking about today is how our friends that we've known for years, our lifestyles are different now. Because my childhood friend and I, we're not really into partying as much anymore because we're both saying it's so tiring it takes a long time to recover after having an all-night partying session. I still like having my little bit of whiskey, listening to jazz music and doing some art and writing. I'm into that, but not like hardcore, like go to Vegas, drink everything you can, dance on the table. It's like I used to like that. And it's cool if you like that too. If you're my viewers and you love that party atmosphere. I think there are times in your life we really enjoy that. Other times you might phase out of it. I think the key thing is understanding your friends and respecting them for who they are. Her party friends and my party friends, they try to get us back into that party zone, but we don't want to. That's just a choice we made for ourselves. And to force someone to take part in your lifestyle when they don't want to, well, it could be very disrespectful because it's just a choice. Everyone's individual choice. Well, I have some friends who have been inviting me to all these events, and I'm not interested in the same music they are. And these events, the tickets could be like $70, $80, even $100 and up per seat. And I'm thinking I'd rather use that money towards art supplies or more like video production towards future trips so I could make more travel vlogs. I don't want to spend it all in one night, all that money. I want to use my money for creative purposes. And you know what? Everyone has their own thing. Everyone has their own category of things they want to buy. Some people love Gucci and buying luxury item. Other people, they like to go party. And I'm not telling people, don't buy this. You should buy this instead. Everyone has their thing that they're interested in, and that's them. You don't have to fully understand why they are the way they are. Just respect them, because not everyone's going to understand you and your financial decision or the things you're interested in and the things that you want to do. So instead of saying that's wrong, yeah, you should do it like this, it's more like everyone has their own system, everyone has their own lifestyle. That's what makes the world interesting, because there's so much diversity in lifestyle, in culture, and in fashion. You know, if everyone is exactly the same, we're just walking iPhones. We're just like walking robots of the same version. And because there are diversity in personalities and all this diversity, of course, we're going to have times when we clash with each other. But when we clash, that is part of the learning process of being a human. There are certain personalities in my life, it's really hard for me to get along with them. Sometimes you learn what you can from that relationship, and then you walk away. Because some people, they'll just frustrate you no matter how much you try to make it work. It's just not happening, right? Maybe in the future you'll get along better with them. Maybe just not today. But it's like when you're trying really hard to get along with someone, but you guys just do not mesh. It's like having a pimple, and you keep trying to pop it, but it won't pop, but it just gets bigger and more red and just more irritating. You know, it's better just to leave it alone. Leave that pimple alone. It's gonna go away eventually. It might take a while sometimes, or it might take overnight and it'll be gone, but it will be gone. People, same thing. People, nobody is going to be in your life forever. Every one of us, we have an expiration date. We're all going to go someday. You know, when I remind myself, most people on earth right now, they're not going to live past 100. All of a sudden, it makes me value everyone even more. Like, I just want to give everyone a smile as much as I can, and then make them happier, even if it's just for a moment. A smile can really brighten up people. And today I went to the craft store. Before and after I met my friend for lunch, I went to the craft store. Usually I don't go to craft stores unless I really need something. But as you know, as I mentioned in the previous mukbang, I am getting so into crafts and art. Actually, it's more about art than the crafts. I'm getting back into painting. Actually, I have a hard time sleeping at night because I'm on tech all the time and editing video. So I'm trying to make it a habit that by 8 or 9 p.m. I turn off all my technology, don't look at any screen, and just read, write, and do art. Whether it's painting or whether it's like doing something, making tassels. You know, I don't wear tassels in all my videos, but I have a deep love for tassels and I want to learn how to make them because, man, I go to these jewelry stores, you know, the places where they sell like all these hipster things and really cute stuff. Very artsy notebooks, and they have these tassel bracelets and tassel necklaces, but they're like $40, $100, $150. Even with like a wooden llama on that bracelet, I'm like, I really want this. But I'm not gonna wear that bracelet every day. Llama bracelet with like 100 tassels, you know? So I just don't buy it. But I was thinking, if I make it myself, wow, that'd be awesome. If I could make my own tassel bracelets. And if you really like something and it's very expensive to get, oh, if you could find out a way to make it yourself, woo, you could make a lot of that thing and feel like a millionaire. I mean, if I learn how to make my own tassel and I make 1 million tassels, I will feel like a millionaire. Because if I were to buy the tassels, woo, it might be like $5 million to buy 1 million tassels. So I went into the craft store. I bought some white fabric, bought some string, and I see the string, turquoise string. So yeah, I'm gonna try making some tassels with this tonight. Yeah, doing arts and crafts for me is like hearing a lullaby. Over time, this gets dry. The moisture evaporates. Woo, that ginger is getting really strong. I think all the ginger flavor went down to the bottom, so I'm really tasting it now. You wanna see how I cut it? I cut it into long slices. Okay, so my friend, she's gonna be having her mini-me very soon in May. We're talking about the cost of having a baby. Now, if you deliver a baby, she was saying without health insurance, it would have cost her $10,000 to deliver the baby. But because of insurance, she only needs to pay $3,000 to deliver the baby. Imagine having a head pop out of the gate of the woman. You know, I don't know how often it happens, but when women give pregnancy, they can also poop because they're putting all the pressure to get that baby out. Man, I think when you're delivering the baby, I kind of, you know, if I get married and have a baby, I want my husband to be in the labor room with me so he knows how much pain I'm going through and I need his support in there. You know, if I'm like, I need someone's hand to hold on to, I'm gonna break his hand. Just being thankful. Hey honey, thank you, you know? at the same time, I don't want him to watch me poop while I'm trying to push that baby out, you know? And what can you do? It's just nature. If it happens, it happens. I want to build upon that subject we were talking about earlier, about your friend's lifestyle and your lifestyle changing. When you have similar lifestyle with people, that's when you tend to do a lot of things together. When you and your friends have different lifestyle, some friends will just naturally weed themselves out. There's a friend that I like a lot, but she kept inviting me to late night things and I kept saying no, but to her, I think she took it as a rejection. So she might be mad at me or, upset. I have some young viewers. I just want to let you know, you don't have to say yes to everything your friends want to do. Sometimes we might get FOMO, fear of missing out.
There's a party going on every single minute somewhere in the world. Instead of being sad of the ones you didn't go to, be happy for the parties you did go to.
I still have some room in my stomach. I'm gonna have this much more, and then let's have some more of the lamb. It's mostly brown, but you get slightly dark red brown areas in here. I'll show you a detail close-up. Now we have a little piece of basmati rice saying hello, clinging onto life, onto the cliff of lamb. Part of rejecting some sort of invitation to an event, it's a way of training your friends and family. Because then you have to, you're letting them know, like, I'm not into staying out too late, or I'm not into that type of music, so I don't want to spend that much money on that event. I'm just not interested. And the way you say it, it could affect how they feel. And some people, just because you said no, they're going to get offended. They might take offense that the fact that you don't like that music, and they're so married to that music. They love that music. They might get upset because they found someone who doesn't like the music. Everyone has their own taste in music, things that they like. It looks like I didn't eat much of the lamb, but if I turn it around like this, then you see I did some work on that. It's all about the perspective, right? You know what? That's what life is. We always talk about perspective, right? But this dish, we could use this dish as an example. Now, some people might view a problem or you in this direction. Other people, they see the other side of you. If something was hiding behind this lamb, you didn't see it, but I see it. I'm seeing the situation more clearly on this side, but there might be something there that I don't see. So I could think the other person is ignorant, but this other person could think I'm ignorant too because I don't see exactly what they see. There's something there, right? And then if I switch to here, I see yet something else that these guys don't see. I see both sides, right? But I might not see other side of this mountain of rice, right? And I think that's why it's so fun to watch a movie you watched 10, 20 years ago. And even reading the same book from a decade or two ago, you read that and you're like, is this the same book? Because I'm getting different feelings and thoughts. Wow, I never knew this side of the character. I didn't realize. I didn't understand this character when I was young. But now I understand. There are certain things that stay constant even with the passing of time. And one of those things, some of those things are books, films, some furniture. Some furniture do get worn out over time. Usually the furniture doesn't dissolve within like 10 years, right? So even some furniture I had since I was in high school, back then I was fine with it. You know, I was like, whatever. I wasn't really about like fashion. But now, I'm not that into fashion, but my eye is more developed than 10 years ago. So I'm a little bit more particular about what I like. So now I look at the furniture and I'm like, oh, I don't like this furniture. So I painted it white. So you could tell how much you've changed when you read a book or watch a film and you have different thoughts and feelings about it. And it's kind of like doing a science project on yourself. Oh, these are the variables. These are the constants. These films and books are constants. I wonder if I watch the original Beauty and the Beast today, how would I react to it? I cannot control my hair. I used to be able to like dry my hair in a way it goes like this perfectly on both sides. But I don't know if it's a dryer or my skills just went down or my hair is becoming more rebellious, but it's not doing what I want it to do. My hair has its mind of its own. I'm super excited to try this Kanafeh. I had the same dish at another Afghan restaurant before. That restaurant, what was it called? So delicious. I still dream about it. Like that lamb meat was just falling apart. It's just like, ooh. When I was having that bite, my world, I couldn't see clearly anymore. Everything was fuzzy in like a romantic glowing way. I think it's really awesome we live in a time where different cultures can sell their food in different countries. And that way, we could travel to another country through taste buds, even for just a moment. And in America, we have a lot of different cultures. Like so much different kinds of food, especially if you're in Los Angeles or New York. So much different kinds of cultural food, right? But even if you go to Asia, in the main cities, they sell like in Bangkok, you know, in Thailand, they sell Korean food as well, Japanese food, Indian food. It's really cool how people of different nationalities can coexist and they could become friends, regardless of the country's history. Their countries might have been through war, you know, colonization. Putting that all aside, and as human to human, making that real connection is so beautiful. First and foremost, before we are any nationality, number one, we're human. Number two, everybody loves to be loved. Yeah, and it feels good to love other people too. And number three, you know what? Haters. Of all people, haters need a lot of love. They might need a lot of spanking, but they also need a lot of love. I am happily full. I'm gonna work out after this, so I don't want to overeat and then feel like, oh, food coma, and then I don't go to the gym. Dessert time! Kanafeh. Let me give you a close look. And what is that green thing? If it was food, not a dessert, it might look like, oh, is that chives if you're looking at it from far away? It is pistachio, you guys. Pistachio. And like I mentioned earlier, it is a cheese. There's cheese in there. It does smell cheesy. Oh man, that's really tasty. I mean, at first I was thinking, putting cheese on dessert? I don't know about that. I like to keep my food savory and my dessert sweet. There's more sweetness to it than the cheesiness. If it was cheesier than sweet, then it'd be really, I don't know, then I would be like thrown off, but this is being thrown off in a good way. Let's have another bite. The main taste, there's sweetness, and then there's a fragrance, and that's the cheesiness. If you look at it from the side, you know those sprinkled bits are on the top, and then there's also sprinkled bits on the bottom. But the sprinkled bits on the bottom, they're not as yellow as the sprinkled bits on the top. The middle part is white. The middle part is actually very soft. It's like a thick mashed potato texture. I'm really curious what it's made of. Let's look up the recipe. Ah, buttery. There's butter in this. No wonder. Butter always makes things taste so dreamy. Oh, it seems that rose water or orange blossom is also poured on top of this dessert. All right, let's try the area with a pistachio. This is a dessert I don't mind eating on an everyday basis. However, if you're on PMS and you really are craving something sweet, it's not going to satisfy you enough. But on a daily basis, it's good. I would say this is like 2 times sweeter than the rice, 2 times or 3 times sweeter than the rice. It's kind of like Asian dessert, because Asian dessert is not too sweet. Generally speaking. There's always an exception. This dessert, because it's buttery and slightly cheesy, it doesn't feel like 100% dessert. It feels like a pre-dessert. In previous mukbangs I filmed, I would eat more. I would probably eat most of this and then I'll be 150 or 200% full. But today I practiced mindful eating and I'm 100% full. And now I could eat this for another meal and I could also share it with my mom. I hope you guys enjoyed eating Afghan food with me today. And remember to follow me on Instagram at MissMinaO for delicious selfies. See you guys in the next mukbang and travel video. Bye bye! P.S. If you're eating with me, what did you eat?